Save $2 on sweet extra large cantaloupes, just $3.99 each. Fresh assorted pork chops, $3.49 per pound. Great for school sandwiches, Bumblebee chunk like tuna, just $1.89 for a 5-ounce tin. Start your day with Nestle's Cheerios, $5.19 for a 397-gram box. Save 86 cents on Minute Maid fruit punch, mixed berry, or apple juice. $6.99 for a 10-pack. Visit our website at www.marketplace.bm for more super specials.
You can count on us.
Live from Bermuda Broadcasting, this is ZBM TV9 News.
Good evening, everyone. It's Friday, September 15th, 2017. I'm Jasmine Patterson, and thanks for joining us tonight. Premier David Burt today bringing forth claims that the former One Bermuda Alliance government failed to properly account for its spending budget, including cost estimates relating to the America's Cup. During a question and answer period in the House of Assembly, Shadow Minister for Economic Development Dr. Grant Gibbons, who led the bid for Bermuda to host the 35th America's Cup, challenged Premier Burt's criticism.
Does the honourable member understand that this ACBDA cash surplus means that despite his media claims to the contrary, no additional taxpayer monies will need to be spent, and that the overall ACBDA and Ministry of Economic budget will come in under budget for the event?
Mr. Speaker, it is amazing the amount of information that a former minister of government has, and it seems as though if the systems are working, they're alive and well. But what the minister may not know is just yesterday in the Ministry of Finance, I had to find an additional $1 million because of an increase in interest to pay for the $40 million empty island that was paid for by the former government. So there are many things that continue to come up. What I will tell the former minister is very clear. The Constitution states what is required for a supplementary estimate. The tabling of the supplementary estimate is there, and we do not know what may come in the future, but we do know what we are already finding.
Is the honourable member aware that calculations for the final AC sponsorship guarantee were complicated by a variety of revenues, including rentals, ticket sales, and performance factors on some of the sponsorships that would only be known following the finals, and that it would have been impossible in January, when the budget was written, to precisely estimate these amounts?
Mr. Speaker, what I am aware of is that that minister, or that former minister, was told by the ACBDA to budget $18 million at a minimum for the guarantee. That is what we have found. He can say whatever is necessary insofar as to estimate, but the government was told to budget $18 million. They under-budgeted for whatever reason, and now our bill is $19.3 million.
Meanwhile, the leader of the opposition, Patricia Gordon Pamplin, defending Dr. Gibbons, said accounting statistics were not available until after the House adjourned.
Well, it's interesting because America's Cup as an event was completed during the time that Parliament was, the event when Parliament was suspended for the summer. What was interesting is that the accounting relating to it would not have been made available until the House had already actually recessed, had been called, or the House had adjourned. So for the Premier to criticize the fact that supplementaries were not tabled, this would have been the first opportunity for such supplementaries to be tabled. Of course, by that time, we were no longer the government, so the supplementaries have to come from his side of the aisle. To suggest that there is going to be money that the public has to look for, to find, to pay, it's patently untrue. I think that what the Premier is trying to do is to establish incorrect facts in the minds of the electorate, and I don't think that that bodes well for anybody. I think that the ACBDA as an organization had the ability to have their budgets. They had money that came in. They will have sufficient at the end of their accounting time to ensure that any excess that they have will go back into the kitty towards any further expenditures. So I think the Premier is being disingenuous at best, but that is the nature that we've come to expect from him, and that seemingly is the tone that he will set for the House coming up.
Elsewhere, a number of local social programs will not receive grants expected out of the Confiscated Assets Fund as there is no money left. This according to Minister of National Security Wayne Keynes, who made the announcement during this morning's sitting in the House of Assembly. Mr. Keynes explains prior to his appointment, the funds were depleted to support anti-money laundering initiatives as permitted under the Act.
Today we presented a ministerial statement with reference to the Confiscated Assets Fund. As you may or not know, the Confiscated Assets Fund is a mechanism by which a government takes care of some of its responsibilities. A part of that is that the ethos behind it was the Confiscated Assets Fund was used to help social clubs, sporting clubs, organizations that need help with their financing. And in these sets of circumstances, the former minister with responsibility for national security indicated to some key organizations that they would indeed get funding. When the opportunity came for us to go and pay these sums according to the letters that they were given by the former minister, we realized that there was no money left in the fund. This is interesting because the former government, and so I am not suggesting that they did anything nefarious. The money was used to the money laundering fund and to take care of some key financial responsibilities. But what the challenge is that the fund is administered by the Minister of Finance and the Attorney Generals, and it appears that they did not have the discussion for balancing how the payments will be made with the minister with responsibility for national security. And so when they paid all that money to the requisite bodies, the former minister gave his word and indication in writing to a number of clubs that they will be given specific amounts of money, and the money has all been spent. There was something noteworthy in that there was a payment for $111,000 to an American law firm. The reason why this stood out to me specifically because as the Attorney General, of course he has the ability to take the money out of this fund because that is a part of how the fund was established. But as a minister, he has a clear plan of accountability, and that is through the budget. If you are doing something in your ministry, it should go through the proper channels within your ministry so everyone can see it, so your cabinet colleagues can see it, and so the opposition, the former opposition could see it. Now, because they did not discuss this as a team, we're seeing that one minister has written a proverbial check that he's unable to cash. The difficult part of this, a number of organizations that had written their year budget with this money in mind, there is no money to pay this out. And that is a tragedy in these sets of circumstances.
So the government will not be able to fulfill the promises of the previous government.
And the reason why that is noteworthy is because we are looking at being fiscally prudent. And what we cannot do is continue, you know that the financial challenges that we face as a country. And so what we have to do this was recently unearthed. I gave the Speaker an undertaking that I will next week give a breakdown of how the money was spent. In the first instance, I think the people of Bermuda have a responsibility to see how the money was spent. This is a part of what I'm learning today is my first day, but it's important that we understand that we still have hope as a people. This is an opportunity for us to be accountable, but more importantly to learn from some mistakes that were made in the past.
And opposition leader Ms. Gordon Pamplin reacted by saying the Confiscated Assets Fund tends to fluctuate.
That is a fund that will go up and down. When money is confiscated, it goes into the fund. When it is expended, it comes out of the fund. So there's no set amount that will be in that fund at any given point in time. So for the National Security Minister to say that the fund is now depleted, it's obviously because the money has been used. I think what he was attempting to do, though, is to say that there was an inappropriate use of funds by the Attorney General's chambers, which he said on the one hand, but yet on the other hand, he acknowledged that the Attorney General's chambers has the capacity to be able to expend monies in the pursuit of criminal activities. So he can't have it both ways. I think he needs to have gotten clear with what it was that he was attempting to convey.
And stay with us. More news after this short break.
You can count on us.
Save $1.70 on value pack of fresh Purdue chicken thighs, $1.99 per pound. Just $2.99 per pound for imported broccoli crowns, only 99 cents for a 6-ounce tub of selected varieties of Yoplait yogurt. For your mac and cheese dish, Ronzoni elbow macaroni, $1.59 for a 16-ounce box. Select varieties of Arm & Hammer laundry detergent, $9.99 for a 75-ounce bottle. All Marketplace stores open 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and Sunday 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
You can count on us.
Bermuda Broadcasting streams the news live on Facebook. Go to Facebook and look up ZBM News 9 and press the like button. You'll get notifications just before the news starts each night. And all of our newscasts are stored there so you can watch them 24/7 at your convenience. Bermuda Broadcasting wants to make it easy for you to stay up to date with your local news. So please sign up to watch us on Facebook Live 24/7 for up-to-date news from Bermuda Broadcasting.
In more news from the House of Assembly, the Minister of Economic Development and Tourism, Jamal Simmons, is deeply concerned that the audit reports from the Bermuda Tourism Authority show that some events were not documented.
We believed it was important as a cabinet that we have a good understanding of what's happening under our ministries. We are in the midst of taking over for a former government, and there are things that we are being held accountable for as the new government. The audit report that was presented to me from the BTA for the year ending 2016 had some concerning issues in it. And my position as the Minister responsible for tourism, every entity under my responsibility must perform to the highest standards at every level. And that's what we're going to hold accountable.
Statistics, what concerns you most?
Well, I think when you have bonuses being given out without supporting documentation, when you have a significant number of meetings held by the board without minutes being taken, when you have money being given out for sponsorship and contracts where there's no paperwork, no signed contracts, it's concerning, and I think that has to change. Now, I think what's good is that upon receipt of this report, the BTA did begin to work on addressing some of these things, but it should not take a report to highlight the things you should be doing from the start. And so we're going to keep a close eye on it and make sure that the highest standards are kept at every level, because it's important. Because even though they are a quasi-private entity, they are funded by tax dollars, and we have a responsibility to that.
Meanwhile, in a response from the BTA's Board of Directors Audit Committee to the Tourism Minister's assertions, they say the opinions reflected in the Minister's statement is a normal and healthy part of the dialogue between auditor, management, and the Audit Committee of a board. As an example, they say it is a necessary part of good governance for directors to regularly allocate time for an in-camera discussion towards the end of each scheduled and properly minuted board meeting. These discussions are typically used to discuss sensitive issues like those surrounding HR or other matters that legally require confidentiality. They go on to state an early draft of the Auditor General's observations includes misstatements of fact that were subsequently either removed by the Auditor General or corrected. For example, the former BTA CEO's contractual incentive was approved by the board, contrary to what was said today in Parliament. The board concludes the recommendations of the Auditor General should not distract from the fact that 2016 marks the third consecutive unqualified audit of the Bermuda Tourism Authority. In other news, some 30 members of the Royal Bermuda Regiment flew out today along with a handful of Bermuda police officers to assist with recovery from Hurricane Irma in the Caribbean. National Security Minister Wayne Keynes has great expectations for the regiment.
We are seeing some phenomenal times for the Bermuda Regiment. The Bermuda Regiment trains all year for ceremonial, for internal security, and for national disasters. This training has all come to bear with the Bermuda Regiment and the Bermuda Police Service being deployed in the first instance, the Bermuda Regiment to the British Virgin Islands, to Turks and Caicos, and the armed police officers being sent to the British Virgin Islands. We have seen and we have trained 30 of our lads and ladies left this morning, and the police also left this morning on a plane that was supplied by the Royal Marines. They are going to make us proud going around the world, specifically to the Caribbean, to help our brothers and sisters. With reference to the throne speech initiatives, we see that the Bermuda Regiment recently, they have had some special constables and they have young men that have trained, and during the America's Cup they took on a very strong maritime role. We think that it's an opportunity for us to increase the maritime role of the Bermuda Regiment, to use the skills, to use the training. It's going to take a little change in the law. It's going to take a little change in the Bermuda Regiment's standing orders. But we believe these trained young men, they can see the benefit of serving in the regiment, make a decent salary, and our country can benefit from this. But more importantly, it allows the police officers to be freed up for some operational policing. So this is a benefit not only to the maritime community, but to the Bermuda Regiment, where they can see a tangible function with the Marine section, and for the Bermuda Police Service, where they can free up some of the resources that will not be used in the Marine section for them now to use that to their core policing.
Now let's head over to the AccuWeather headquarters for a look at what's in store for us at the weekend.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
The BF&M Insurance Group is pleased to bring you this AccuWeather forecast. And the ZBM forecast is kind of an interesting one because we have a tropical beast on our doorstep. It's been meandering just to our south for the past week. And this is Jose. Jose is going to continue to probably hold on to the intensity of a strong tropical storm or Category 1 lower end hurricane for the next few days. And we may even see a few periods of time in which it wavers between the two intensities. It may strengthen those some into Sunday and Monday before gradually weakening as it approaches the east coast of the U.S. But the message here is that it stays west of Bermuda. Here's the satellite estimate of where the rain is falling. The fish don't care, and it's going to stay west of the island and also still east of the Carolinas by a fairly decent margin. Now, with that said, look for the wave heights to increase as it continues to churn. Our waves will grow and the boating conditions will deteriorate, especially on the south and west facing side of Bermuda. Humidity, 75 to 80%. Wind pretty active from the southeast at 15 to 20 knots. Water temp, 84. Awfully close to the air temp, essentially the same temperature. And waves on the inside, 1 to 2 feet. On the outside, they will be larger. Waves a little bit more tenacious at times. And really for the next few days, that'll be the case. So boating weather is not the best. Tonight, we'll go partly cloudy and breezy out there. Lows into the upper 70s. And tomorrow, it'll be a continuation of the breezy weather. High temperature real close to the water temp at around 84. Mix of sunshine and clouds. And here we are with our tides for the day today. Back around midday or late morning, we had a low tide. We're dealing with high tide now, essentially, and then into the evening. Later this evening, we'll bottom out once again just before midnight, and then around daybreak, just before that, another high tide. The Gateway forecast shows that we're dealing with some spotty showers in areas like New York. Very slim, though, hardly enough to include in the graphic here. London has a better chance for rain. Miami, not many leftover showers there. It was a little under a week ago when Miami experienced some significant wind damage and high water as well as Irma passed just to the west of Dade County, Florida. Into the Caribbean, we have scattered showers and thunderstorms in Jamaica, in Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago there. Crowd down in San Juan and Levantille facing some scattered showers. Tropical development, we have Jose to our south and west. Jose will not directly hit us, but it will create large waves. And then Tropical Depression 14 far to the south and east. No imminent threats for us. The extended forecast shows mid-80s today and tomorrow, as well as Sunday. So this Friday evening through Saturday and Sunday afternoons, all mid-80s. Temperatures barely budge, but the rain will increase. There will be kind of a frontal boundary that is deposited over our heads as Jose slides to our west and ultimately to our northwest. So Jose stays away, but the waves will get big, and also the showers will be developing tied to that front. And also, we do have a little reminder that you can tune in to Ocean 89, Power 95, and Inspire 105 for the latest news and weather and plenty of good tunes.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
Are you required to take one or more medications daily but have a hard time remembering when to take them? Does your family fear you may end up in the hospital because you often forget to take your meds? Or are you a caregiver looking for a time management tool designed to make your medication routine effortless? The Phoenix stores can help. With an MDS blister pack, a multi-dose packaging system that makes it easier to manage and take your medication. Each MDS blister pack contains medications for the week and is pre-packed, sealed, and labeled by a pharmacist. Prescriptions grouped by the day and the time of day you should take them, whether at breakfast, lunch, dinner, or bedtime. Plus, to ensure you're covered, each pack includes detailed, personalized instruction. Take confidence in knowing you're using your medications as the doctor planned. Visit the Phoenix stores to chat with the pharmacist and get your MDS blister pack today. The Phoenix stores, for a better life.
Government transport officials tonight providing an explanation for the recent bus breakdowns resulting in numerous service cancellations affecting evening and morning commuters. The Department of Public Transportation confirms the number of buses out of service is now down to 58. According to the Department of Public Transportation, yesterday it was hit with a spate of bus breakdowns, forcing some cancellations, leaving the Hamilton bus depot. Officials say the breakdowns took place late in the afternoon, making it difficult to advise the public as they finish their workday. They say while the department has had to wrestle with these issues over an extended period of time, circumstances will not consistently improve until the fleet is considerably upgraded. They attribute the reasons to breakdowns to various causes, including oil leaks, air system failures, inoperable bells, steering problems, faulty airbags, and doors failing to operate properly. The total size of the bus fleet is at 105, down from 10 years ago when there was a fleet of 123 buses. The weighted average age of the vehicles is over 10 years old, while the industry standard is less than 7 years. Officials say the fleet has become older and less reliable as Department of Public Transportation operates services over 18 hours every day of the year. Meanwhile, government announced several bus cancellations for this morning. Those commuters traveling between 7:10 and 9 a.m. were immediately impacted. With that explanation for the breakdowns given, the Department of Public Transportation say they will endeavor to keep the public informed when there are future service interruptions. A sad day for VSB radio fans. Over the past few years, the Bermuda Sun, Mid-Ocean News, and Defense TV 11 have all closed their doors. VSB radio anchor Peter Cattell.
2 years ago, with the closure of Defense radio and TV companies, a small group of management and staff undertook to keep VSB radio on the air and to provide broadcasting on Mix 106 FM and the BBC channel. Sadly, despite the support of listeners and advertisers and the offering of the island's best radio news programming, it has not been possible to achieve a viable commercial business with the ability to expand. The excess number of radio stations in Bermuda also made it difficult to attract the necessary advertising. Consequently, VSB Radio will cease broadcasting at 5 p.m. on Sunday, September 17th. The community should take this news as another wake-up call about the increasing difficulty that the print and broadcast media are having in remaining afloat in the face of the turn of advertising on social media.
After hearing the news, the CEO of Bermuda Broadcasting Company, Patrick Singleton, said, "We are deeply saddened that VSB has announced it's shutting down. We have tremendous respect for Kenny DeFonts, Brian Darby, and Chris Lodge. They are top broadcasters, journalists, and close friends. Whilst we were competitors, the Bermuda Broadcasting Company is truly saddened that VSB is closing down. This is a major loss for Bermuda." Coming up in tonight's sports, Erica Hawley competes in World Triathlon Championships. Tyler Smith advances in both singles and doubles in tennis. And Bermuda Wushu fighters withdraw from championships. Earl Basin has the details of these stories and more.
Erica Hawley was the first of 8 Bermuda triathletes to compete in Rotterdam as she took to the World Triathlon Championship course in the women's junior race. After a delay of an hour due to weather and in a field of 64 competitors, Hawley finished 40th, clocking a time of 1:05:47. Hawley came out of the water in a time of 10:49. She was 1 minute and 5 seconds behind leader Fuka Sigma of Japan. Hawley then recorded a time of 33:14 on the bike course before closing out with a runtime of 19:29. Taylor Kibb from United States won the race with a time of 1:01:22. Kate Waugh from Great Britain was second in 1:01:38. And Sigma was third in a time of 1:02:05. Tyler Smith and her Jackson State women's tennis teammates picked up full play where they left off last spring at the South Fulton Tennis Center. They finished as runners-up of the SWAC tennis tournament. They advanced to the quarterfinal round of the current HBCU National Tennis Championships. After the first day of the event, 4 of the 7 Jackson State women's tennis players advanced to the next round. Smith, playing in Flight A, advanced after she defeated Haley Parker of Johnson C. Smith University in straight sets, 6-love, 6-love. In doubles action, Smith and Lucia Solis moved to the quarterfinals after they defeated Liza Vaznova and Milan Graves from Delaware State University 8-1. The Bermuda Sanshal Association has been forced to withdraw from the 14th World Wushu Championships to be held in Kazakhstan, Russia from September 26th through to October 4th. There are a number of contributing factors for the withdrawal, with the Bermuda Sanshal Association President Garen Wilkinson explaining.
The bottom line, at the end of the day, it was a very expensive venture, and we had limited funding to make the trip. We did encounter, a few hurdles. We did intend to send quite a sizable group. You would know that when you travel, you can get group rates that, helps to keep the prices down. And as we got closer to the championships, and, we were informed of the visa requirements of us having to physically go to the Russian embassy in London and then having to overnight hotels there, and the process taking up to 3 days, the cost just kept mounting. And our international federation, International Wushu Federation, we have an online tool that we use to register. We have to place all of our passport information on this application, and the process is that you cannot apply for a visa outside of 30 days of you arriving in Russia. So what that does is, it puts a lot of pressure on us to be able to get all the information in time.
Goals from Reese Flanagan, Matt Kuhar, and Milan Casey Butterfield sent Walsall through to the second round of the Birmingham Football Senior Cup. Butterfield recently returned to Walsall after a loan period with Leamington. His goal proved to be the winner as he made it 3-1 in the second half. Butterfield finished a superb flowing move, playing a neat 1-2 before taking the return in the box and finishing well past the keeper. Justin Donowa and his Dartmouth men's football teammates battled to take its first win of the season, recording a 1-0 win over Hartford in overtime. The goal was reached only 49 seconds into the extra time period. Freshman defender Matt Ranieri scoring his first collegiate goal, heading a ball straight into the net with Junior Donowa getting the assist. Meanwhile, Taekwondo parent chief Zico Harris and their Appalachian State University men's football teammates fought valiantly despite a 3-0 loss to number 4th ranked Wake Forest at the Spry Stadium. Bermuda's 2 Winter Olympic hopefuls, Tucker Murphy and Matthew Lejour, will be scoping the web as the competition schedule for the 2018 Winter Olympic Games has been unveiled, with less than 150 days to go until the opening ceremony. If Lejour qualifies, he would see action on February 9th during the freestyle skiing men's moguls qualifiers. If Murphy is successful and competes in the men's 15-kilometer cross-country skiing event, it's scheduled for February 16th. The 2017 Bermuda Blue Team Squash Championships continued inside the Bermuda Squash Rackets Association Club last evening. In the junior division, Graham Moss defeated Andrew Cox in straight games 11-5, 11-9, 11-8. The lunchtime leftovers edged the Deadpool Stunt Crew 5-4 in the social division, while the Three Amigos defeated the Rum Runners 8-1. The elite division had a close finish as well, with just in the nick of time edging the Crab Catchers 5-4.
Hey Smokey, let's get lunch from the Marketplace Food Court.
You know what? That sounds good.
They have oxtails, pumpkin, curried lamb, lemon chicken, sweet and sour ribs, vegetable stir fry, and the variety goes on.
Their chefs are good. They'll set you right up. Avoid the good carbons.
And don't forget the special dishes from the islands.
It don't matter. No matter what you feel like eating, Marketplace will have it.
You know, it's quick, it's quality, and at prices you can count on.
Visit us 7 days a week. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Made for you daily at the Hamilton Marketplace Food Court.
FIFA World Cup 2018 is the showcase of the world's most popular sport, and Bermuda Broadcasting Company will deliver all 64 games in high definition. This is a great opportunity to present your ad during the most prestigious sporting event. For more information, email sales@bermudabroadcasting.com.
And that's our broadcast for this evening. I'm Jasmine Patterson, and thanks for watching. Good night.
Jasmine Patterson's wardrobe and makeup is provided by Gibbons Company.